Hello, welcome to the In Vivo Repair Centre. This is the SoundDock 2 diagnostic video. So you'll be watching this if your SoundDock has packed up and it's not working. We've got a selection of SoundDocks here on the table with typical faults, and so we're going to go through them one by one, and on each one we will decide the best action to take in terms of using our services or purchasing spares to fit yourself. The first thing to do is to look at the mains lead. Obviously it's a standard mains lead with a C7 plug with a mains plug of the type for your location. If you have no power to your dock, or you suspect that this mains cable is frayed or broken or somehow not working, then just substitute it with a mains cable from another product. They're very common, usually several things around the house that have got exactly the same mains input connector to your electronic device. So just that's the cable. We don't repair these. You can buy them locally. We don't even sell them. So check that your mains cable is okay, because it'd be a shame to go through all the motions of trying to get the dock repaired and so on without first checking your mains cable. So if you have no power, first thing, check your mains cable. If you have no power and your mains cable is good, then this is the next thing to look at. It's the power supply. Now this particular model for the SoundDock 2 is quite reliable. Sometimes they do emit a kind of a low-pitched whistle, but they do work. But if the whistle annoys you, then I'm afraid you're probably going to have to get a new power supply. The later ones don't whistle, but if they whistle, there's not really any easy way of stopping it. It's just an annoying audible direct from the case of the power supply. The other thing is to shake the power supply. If you hear things rattling around inside, it means there may have been a mains transient come down the line, and some of the components in the side have been destroyed, which again, rattling components inside the power supply is an indication that there's something wrong. Okay, check the cable hasn't got any nicks, cuts or frays on it, and it goes complete to the end of the plug, and that this cable here is secure into the moulding on the DC input connector. Okay, so if this is loose, or you can feel a particular weak spot here, it may be broken inside. If it's been pulled very hard, also you might get an indication of the fact that if you pull on this cable, you can feel it moving inside the cable, the connector housing, and if you can feel it moving inside the connector housing, then chances are that there's no connection inside and it might be the power supply. If you live in the UK or mainland Europe, we can fit a new DC lead. So if your DC lead is damaged, you can go onto the website and purchase the power supply refurbishment service, and we will fit a new cable and refurbish the power supply for you. Of course, if your power supply has been out in the rain, don't plug it in. It probably isn't safe to do so. And so if there's any sign or knowledge or history of the fact the thing got wet and it didn't work, it's probably going to be scrap, to be honest. Power supplies that have got wet inside are never really going to be safe and reliable after that point where they got wet. So again, you're going to be looking for a new power supply. If you decide your power supply is faulty, one more thing, sorry, is the connector here. This connector is a round connector, and inside there's a little gold pin, and you can see the gold pin if you look down the barrel. I'm not going to try and show it here, but there's a little gold pin which will be located. The end of the pin is about 5 millimeters or 1/4 of an inch below the surface, the top surface of this cylinder, and just make sure the pin is sticking up straight in the center of the cylinder, and it's not bent, broken or blackened. It should be nice. It's gold plated, it should be nice and gold and shiny and straight and not deformed in any way. If that pin is missing, the dock will not emit any sound. Okay, you won't get any sound from the dock. It may charge the iPod, but you won't get any sound, so check your pin's okay. So that's the power supply. Put it to one side. In fact, I'm going to connect this to the power now, because I know this is a working one. Okay, so now we have power here. We've got our DC power plugged in, and this is going to work. So this is a dock we have from a customer. We haven't tested it yet, so first thing to do is to, if your dock is not working, look in the back to make sure that these connectors don't seem to be broken or deformed in any way. This one seems good, so I'm going to plug the power in. And as I plug the power in, you'll hear a double beep. Okay, that's one, so I'll just unplug the power and plug the power back in and listen to the 2 beeps. Okay. Now those two beeps are quite a good sign, because it means that most of the electronics, the majority of the electronics in the base are working. It means that the sound processor is getting power, it means that it's starting up, it means that things are pretty much running according to plan. If you hear that sound, that's actually quite a good sign. So if we then, on this particular dock, plug an iPod in, this is an iPod Touch, you can see the dock beeps, and at the moment the iPod is not receiving any power. So we know there's power in the dock, but there's no power to the iPod. Sometimes if you move these around, you see, do you see that? You hear that cracking? And if I hold it and move it, you can see the power comes on, and you can see that the thing is now charging. I don't know whether I can get any sound out of this in this position. I can get the sound out of one speaker only, but not the other. And if I let go, you get crackling, you get light flashing, you get beeps. What's wrong with this dock is the fact that it's just basically this connector is broken. And if you go to the website, there's a separate video which shows you how to replace this docking connector board. You can buy these docking connector boards on our website under the Series 2 section. If you look down the left hand menu, it says Series 2. This board is for sale as a kit. So everything you need to change this board is in a kit. The screwdriver, you don't need any special tools. It takes about 5 minutes to change. So just to recap on that, if your dock is beeping nicely, and you can see the green light come on when you plug in, but you're not getting any sound from your docking connector, or it's crackling, or when you move the iPod the sound breaks up, as you just saw, then the fact that you have the beep is a very good sign, and it's pretty much pretty certain that it's going to be the docking connector that's faulty. And in that instance where you have a dock that beeps when you plug in, and you can't get any joy, or you get intermittent operation, or no operation at all, or no charge, or no sound, or any combination of strange effects with the docking connector, or even nothing at all, it means that the docking connector is broken, and you can buy a replacement board which takes about 5 minutes to fit, and the fitting of that board is covered in a separate video. Okay, so look for the SoundDock Series 2 connector replacement procedure video in the technical guide section on the website. So that's basically about it. Also, you can do, if you want further assurance, is that if you connect a 3.5mm stereo jack lead to the back of the aux in, and you get sound from your iPod by plugging into the headphone connection on the iPod, i.e. you inject a signal in here and the thing plays normally, that's an even stronger indication, very, very strong indication, even more certain that it's your docking connector that's failed, okay? And you need a new docking connector board. The docking connector board you can put in here is a straightforward replacement. Basically gives you standard functionality, or you can buy the Invibo, the Enexis Bluetooth upgrade board, which also gives you, as well as a new connector, also gives you Bluetooth functionality, so you can stream from any Bluetooth enabled handset or iPad or tablet or one of the later laptop or notebook PCs. Okay. So that's that one. So this one we would just fit the connector board, which you can buy online, which you can fit yourself. Okay. Now moving on to the next one. On the dock, sent in by a customer, obviously well loved. Check the connectors on the back; they look good. Everything seems to be in order. The connector doesn't look half bad itself on the front. I can't see it's broken or bent, or the fact that this connector's loose. If you move this with your finger and the connector is rocking back and forth, this one isn't, but if it was, it might. That's a very strong indication the connector is broken off the board. Okay, so you know, also check that to make it solid. So I've just plugged this one in, and I take it you must have heard that sound. Obviously, this is faulty. Okay, so that's what that one's doing. It's not emitting any burning smells. So that's a good indication that what's happened with this unit is the sound processor has failed. Okay. Now there's not much you can do with this, except if you live in the UK or mainland UK, you can send the whole dock in to repair at our repair centre. If you live overseas, then you need to remove the sound processor and the docking board, which I will do briefly at the end. It is covered in other videos, but I'll do it briefly at the end of this video just to show you what you need to do. But the sound processor is a small circuit board with metal cans on that resides underneath this cover. And this one has definitely failed. This one will be stripped down, the sound processor will go into the engineers and they'll have to repair and replace and service the sound processor. Now it could be that the docking board is faulty or not very good as well, so what you need to do is to order the sound processor repair service for the SoundDock Series 2, which I'll talk about in a moment. So that's another one. The third dock is another customer dock which has come in. I don't know, connector looks good. If we plug this one in, and this is making a buzzing noise and some crackling. Plug it in again, and it's also, you can't tell this, but I can also smell a burning smell. There's a very, if you smell any kind of burning from the dock or a hot sort of electrical smell, then clearly that indication that there's a fault. And again, 99.99% of electronics faults are in the sound processor, in the base. So again, this one has got a good connector, but it's making a strange noise. In fact, now it's died completely. Okay, so it's moved into the next phase, whatever was causing it. So again, the sound processor is going to be faulty. So just to recap, on the first dock we tried, we plugged the power in, we got the double beep, and indicating that the dock is running properly, therefore it's going to be the docking connector which is faulty. These two are a slightly different case, they have sound processor faults. Most of the time it's going to be the docking connector, but if you've got a sound processor fault, then it can easily be repaired and modified, and you'll be away again, your dock will work fine. So briefly, we're just going to show you on one of these how to remove the sound processor. Assuming that you've decided that it's the sound processor that is fault, that needs repairing, then we need to show you how to take it out and what parts to send in to us. This is covered in another video, but I'm going to do it very quickly here, just so that for completeness of this video. Take these 4 screws in the top out. Okay. Remove this cover, take the front of this part and just pull, and you can see the whole lot comes out. Replugging, reconnection of this sound processor and the refitting procedure is covered in a separate video. The complete procedure to put this back in and reassemble the whole thing is shown in another video, so that when you get your sound processor back from repair, you need to watch the other video and follow the steps and freeze frame and just put it back together in the same order. You'll find it's very straightforward. Okay, so take the body of the dock away. These 4 little rubber parts need to be saved. Don't lose them, you'll need them. This is the sound processor. This ribbon here just pulls out straight out with no problem. You just gently rock it and it comes out clearly. There is the sound processor. It smells pretty, this one's the one that was burning. A very strong smell of burning about this one. So to send in to us you need this, and also you need to get hold of, you can send this whole moulding into us, but it does cost quite a bit more because of the added weight, okay? Especially if you're in North America or Canada or Brazil or somewhere, then the air shipping is going to be more expensive. So it's much better, and we prefer you to get hold of a T8 Torx screwdriver, remove these 3 screws, okay? Then remove the moulding, remove the docking connector board, okay, unplug this from there. And there you have 3 components. You have the sound processor. It's a Series 2 sound processor, so when you order online, make sure you order the Series 2 sound processor. They are slightly more expensive to repair than the Series 1, so it's a Series 2 sound processor. Please order the Series 2 sound processor repair service. If you order the Series 1, then there'll be administration charges and extra charges to top up the charge to bring it up to the correct level for the repair. If you're unsure about the whether it's faulty or not, or whether you think it might be this or it might be this, for some reason you're uncertain, there is a free diagnostic check on the website. Now please order the free diagnostic check, and when the parts arrive here at the repair centre, we pre-test everything, and then we report back to our admin staff, and our admin people will come back to you and say the sound processor, actually in this instance it is a sound processor, it's the standard repair charge as demonstrated on the website for the sound processor, or it's not the sound processor, it's actually your docking board. So please, which docking board would you like? Would you like the replacement docking board or the Bluetooth upgrade board? And I suppose in rare occasions, but very rarely, it might be both. The connector is worn and substandard, but actually the sound processor has failed. But we'll tell you exactly the situation, and you can choose from the options. And when we send this back, you go back to the reassembly video, and if you're unsure of how to proceed, there is a video on the website, as I already said, that shows you exactly step by step how to put these parts back into your SoundDock in the correct order without causing any damage. Okay. So just a quick note about the ordering process. If you place an order, we don't do telephone orders, and we don't really take orders by email. If you want us to repair your sound processor or do a diagnostic check, you need to go online and order it for your country. And now when you place the order, shortly afterwards you'll receive some labels and instructions. And this is an example of a customer who sent in the sound processor to us. And of course, protection of the sound processor is quite important. So that was wrapped in bubble wrap, and it was in a small, fairly sturdy box, and sent in to us. Now, if you're in the North America or Canada, the shipping for these 3 parts, you can also wrap those in a single layer of bubble wrap and put them in a padded envelope. We prefer the small box, and in fact, the US Postal Service to provide a very small box, probably about 1 inch high, just about the right size to take these parts, which you can buy at the post office. And I think it's about $7 or $8 to send over by airmail, and takes typically between 4 or 7 days. If it's a holiday period or the security, it might take a bit longer. So the transit time is typically between 4 and 7 working days. It's here for a couple of days. We turn them around in 2 or 3 days, and then you receive an email when the parts arrive here, and then we send you another email when we dispatch a couple of days later. And again, it comes back in 4 to 7 working days. So pack these in some bubble wrap. Into a small box is much preferred, the US Postal Service box or a small packing box if in the UK, and post it using the labels which you will receive by email. You place the order, our system will send you out labels and instructions. The labels aren't prepaid, they're just an address label with this thing here is a barcode. Now, they aren't prepaid, so when you take it to the post office, you're going to have to pay some shipping. As I say, in the USA, it's going to be around approximately $7. It may go up. At the time of filming, this is August 2013. It's about $7.50, I think, typically. In the UK, it might be £2 or £3. Okay, sent by first class post or recorded. We advise you to send it by recorded if you're in the UK. So that's it. So protect it well, because if you put it in just an ordinary paper envelope or something, it will get damaged in the post, and then it won't be a straightforward repair anymore. It'll be mechanical damage. The only other thing to mention, if you take this apart and you can see all sorts of corrosion or black marks or general horribleness around here, that everything should be silver and shiny and new and clean. If you see that there's patches of white or encrusted parts or black corrosion around these pins, around this connector, that is liquid damage, and your sound processor has got wet. I would say 95% of liquid damaged controllers are repairable. It's simply a case of changing these connectors and cleaning. We have a special cleaning process we put them through here to remove all the liquid residue, and a drying process. But if it is liquid damage, you can send it in, but if it's so badly damaged and corroded, then obviously it's going to be unrepairable, in which case we'll give you a full refund. So the only caveat really is that if there's liquid damage, it may not be repairable, but most likely it is repairable, and if it can't be repaired, you will be refunded and the item returned to you. Okay, so it's a pretty good chance. Anyway, you get these 3 items back from us in a similar box a few weeks later, and follow the video, reassemble, and enjoy your dock. Thank you very much.